Good morning, grade 4s, my penguin class, my special kids, my lovely kids. I miss you. And this lesson, I wish actually I could have been there with you, because I will tell you just now what normally happens if I do the half. And you that know me will understand me and would understand that sometimes when I repeat something 100 times and still children do it wrong, or still children ask me about things that I told you 100 times, then I normally would make a little scream, or I would put my hands against my head and sigh or fold double, and so on. And I would have done this when you were with me, so you missed that part with the half. You will understand just now, because I will explain what normally happens with the half. So you see there, it is half. So then I start with this. As I write 10, and then I ask the grade 4 kids, always. I get the same answers. 10. Now, what must you do to halve the 10? And then normally, most of you would scream out, 5. And then I would say, yes, half of 10 is 5, but that's not what I asked. I asked, what must you do with 10 to halve it? Then the children say, you must cut it in half. When I cut it in half, then they say, no, you can't do that. Then I do this, and they say, cut it in half. Then I cut it in half. Then they say, no, you can't do that. Okay. Now, your grade 1 to 3 teachers were very good teachers. They taught you to halve something is to cut the apple, or to cut the piece of cake, or to cut the pizza in half, or whatever. So, and still some will scream the answer 5, which is correct, but that's not the question. My question is, what do you do to get half? And I know you understand it because you give the correct answer, but that's not what I want to know. There's a reason for that. Then I take a higher number because I don't want you to just scream the answer out. And then think a little bit, and still someone would say cut it in half, or cut it in half. And yeah, then I rather take another one. I just choose a random number, 397. Then I ask, okay, 397. How do you get half of 397? And then some of the kids start thinking, oh, there's something there. And then they say, you take away half. Then I say, good. It is so, you take away half, but you don't know what is half of 397. And that is where we're going to start now, with the half. So you will see there, I wrote there with a colored pencil. When you start with your lesson, you can pause to write all these things down. Then you write there, halve means you divide by 2. I rather give the answer now, because normally I would ask a few more questions to get someone to understand what to do, or you do understand, but you don't know how to explain it. But this is actually what will happen, and that is why we're doing the fractions. I'm doing the half lesson first. I really did prepare for the fractions. I just show you because I'm ready for the fractions. But in between I decided to wait a bit with this and do the half sums first, and the next lesson will be about the fractions, which is already recorded. I just need to check if there were any mistakes, and in this specific video there was a part that was not recorded, so I must repeat this lesson totally. That's why there's written repeat. You don't have to write the repeat that I wrote there. It's just for me to know this is the one that I've repeated. Okay, now I'm going to show you how we're going to work with the half numbers. We're going to have high numbers like up to the thousands, and you will see now everything here is divided by 2. Every number of the units, only the tens with a 0. It's not like 11 or 13 or so on for now. All the main numbers you have here on a list, which is divided by 2, and I want you to learn this. When we get back, I'm going to give you a test on this thing. You must write all the halves for me, and you must know it by heart, just like you know your tables. And here you will see now, you will see there's a half written, and there's a half written, and there's a half written, and there and there. So I quickly explain to you, when you have one apple, and I am going to say when you cut it through in half, then it is actually a half. If you have one and you divide it by 2, then you have a half. See, and then if you have 2 children, there are, let's make 3 apples with a little leaf there, and a child, and a child. Then if you divide 3, there's 3. If you divide 3 between 2 peoples, when you have 3 divided by 2, so it's 2 people who must get 3 apples. So you give an apple to that one, and you give an apple to that one, and then there's one left. So you divide this by 2. So this person gets 1.5, and this person gets 1.5. That is why your answer there is 1.5. Let me just clean that for you. 1.5. Let's do the 5 also. If I add another apple, you have 5 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this little person gets 2 apples. This little person gets 2 apples and a half. So if you have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, divide by 2 little people, then your answer is 2.5. 2.5. So that's why you have the halves with some of the units. And you know what? It is the odd numbers that has the halves for answers. You should know what the odd and even numbers is by now, eh? Okay, so I'm going to start with the examples. We're going to use this. The first one is, see, you must fold. I pasted the paper where the other lesson is that I've done, but you must fold the paper in half, and then you have your first sum, 274. So there will only be written one number, and you underline it because it's separate from what you are going to do here. You don't have to focus on the placing for the underlined number, but the rest you must be very careful with. So you will see this is 200. Okay? Divide by 2. Divide by 2 equals. Then 70. Divide by 2. That is the 70. And then you have 4. Divide by 2. And please, I don't want divide symbols like that. Please, just normal dot dot. Okay? Please. You can be fancy some other time, but not in our maths books and our workbooks. Okay. 200 divided by 2 is 100. It's the same as 2 divided by 2 is 1. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And 200 divided by 2 is 100. Okay, so this is 100. Then you've got the 70 divided by 2. 70 divided by 2, 35. And here also, you write units under units, tens under tens. Remember, this part must be written like that. Don't worry about this one. It's underlined. It stands on its own. So you don't have to worry about having it underneath each other. This one is just the number you must break up into parts like this. 4 divided by 2 is one of your tables, but you should actually know it instead of looking it up. But it is 2. And then you add it as well. You've got your double-digit times multiplication sums, where you also have to add your stuff. And here you're also going to add it like a normal sum. 5 units and 2 units, 7 units. Only 3 tens and only 100. Okay, the next number will be 356 that you must divide by 2. Or not, the other word is halve. Yeah? You must halve that. So what you do, you break it up. There's the fold, work against the fold. So it is 300, see there, 300. You must halve 300. Halve 300 divided by 2 is what? 150. Okay, I shouldn't have written the answer, but now I have. You can first write, break the sum up like this, and then you can add the numbers, and then there's the 6 divided by 2, half. It is 25. See? 25. 6 divided by 2, you should know by now, is 3. Half of 6 is 3. Half. I'll explain in a while. I'll explain why this is written like that and why this is written like that. I'll soon explain, but it's not a mistake. It's meant to be like that. So, there are only 8 units. There are 7 tens and 100. You rule off. Oopsie, that's an ugly one. Then I'm going to do one more example. 253. Okay, here comes the thing, the big thing, which you will understand soon. You have that number. Now you must break it up. 200 divide by 2, then 50 divide by 2. Can you see units under units, tens under tens, and then 3 divide by 2. And as you look at this apple, if it is half, it is not a whole apple. It is half. It is just one part of an apple. So, it's not a real number yet. Only when it gets to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, then it is a proper number. But when you have half, it's not even a unit yet. So, if you see there, you must have 3 divided by 2. And you have it here, and I've explained it with the apples as well. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. See, now the half, this is now where what you must remember clearly, is the half is not a number yet. So when we get there, I'll show you. 200 divided by 2 is 100. There it is already. 50 divided by 2, you have it there. It's 25. Otherwise, you can look up on your list, which I will add attached. Will attach to the video. Okay, so, or the email. So now 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So your answer is 1. See, the 1 is under the units, and the half stands on its own. It cannot go to the units. It's not a unit yet. So please, when you get an answer where there is a half, the half stands completely on its own. He's not a unit yet, so there is not a place for him, except when we get to the decimals, and that we will get to soon, but not yet. That's why we're doing this so long. Okay, so there are no other halves there on top of the half, so this answer is half. Half plus nothing is still half. 5 units plus 1 is 6 units. There is only a 2, so there are 2 units and 100. So this answer is 126 and a half, because there was a half. So you must remember when you add it up to always write the answer with the half. If you give me an answer without the half, I am going to mark it wrong, because the answer will not be 126 but 126 and a half. Now I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to write the next sums that you must try to do on your own. There will be, this page will be attached so you can look on it. But I hope some of you will quickly know what the half of each thing is. But I'm going to write the sums quickly, only the top parts, and you can do this on your own further, and I will send the memo soon. Right. There you go. I write the next sums. This is 375, 697, 900. Oopsie, I'm sorry if I bump into the camera. 956, 193, and 99. So, here, where you have odd numbers at the end, there, and there will be half as part of the answer. You will see 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. And then there is a 3 again. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. And then there's a 9. And 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Please take care when you are there. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you tomorrow about the fractions. See you and love you, and you are special. Bye-bye.